And if we could stand for the invocation led by Carrie Brown of Bible Baptist Church.
A simple way. Everybody join me in an Our Father, please. I'd like to do that today, okay? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you.
We're going to ask that you stand for a moment of silence for Joe Benatar, former Sutter County Supervisor and former City Council member, please, who passed away last week. Thank you. All right, and if we could have our sheriff lead us in the pledge.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Actually, we have presentations. If we can meet out front here. Oh, Jim, come on up.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again.
The month of May celebrates Asian Americans in the United States and is deserving of recognition and honor. The diverse and growing population of Asian Americans make up more than 23 million people in the United States and 18% of the population in Sutter County. The local Asian American community has a long-standing commitment and history of contributing to the overall success of our region. Our diversity provides great strength, and honoring this month provides an opportunity for all community members to learn and celebrate Asian American history and values. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors call upon all citizens of Sutter County to recognize and celebrate the many contributions of the local Asian American community during the month of May, hereby officially proclaimed as Asian American History Month in Sutter County.
Earlier today, we were invited to attend. We got a look at your past and what you went through back when you were younger during the intern camps there at Tule Lake. And it was an incredible video put on by professors at Chico State. And I'd never seen anything like it before. It really opened my eyes, especially right here from Gridley. And, you know, being shipped all the way to Tule Lake with your family, and what you endured for those years, and then coming back here to your ranch. And I believe it took 2 years, you said, before you got back on your feet, and luckily you owned your ranch where others didn't own their property. So they left, and they still had payments on their property, so they lost their properties. And these are American citizens. So he was an American citizen forced into this camp. And it was absolutely incredible. And then we saw, you know, Ronald Reagan saying how much of a mistake had been done by forcing you. Just like I said, I'm glad we attended. It was amazing to learn all this, and very sorry for what you dealt with. And we're happy that you could join us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, this young man is 103 years old. So, if we can just sit. If you guys could just join me in singing. Well, anyways, I just wanted to see if you guys could join me in wishing him happy birthday, singing him happy birthday. We said we were gonna do it earlier and we didn't, right? So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jim. Happy birthday to you. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Would like to say a few words?
I don't have any more to say.
Let's give him another round of applause. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Will Mr. Jim Tanamoto please remain with the board? And will the Tri-Counties Filipino American Association, Marysville chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League, and Dre Mong please join the board to receive certificates of recognition?
We got plenty of room.
Come on down.
It's too big, I'll sneak in the back. Let's do that. Or you stay there and I'll. Yeah, I see her. Behind there.
Presented to Jim Tanamoto in honor of your unwavering courage and commitment to justice. As the last surviving member of the Block 42 resistors at Tule Lake, your principled stand in defense of constitutional rights serves as a vital reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. We recognize your passionate dedication to sharing your story, ensuring that the history of Japanese American incarceration is never forgotten, and inspiring generations to uphold the values of liberty and equality for all. Presented to the Tri-Counties Filipino American Association in recognition of your outstanding contributions to our community and tireless efforts to preserve and promote Filipino heritage. We recognize and commend your exceptional commitment spanning more than 40 years. Your dedication has made a lasting impact on our community. Presented to the Marysville chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League in recognition of your enduring efforts in promoting civil rights, cultural education, and combating prejudice since being founded in 1935. As the local chapter of oldest and largest Asian American civil rights organization in the United States, we recognize and commend your commitment to promoting a world that honors diversity by respecting values of fairness, equality, and social justice. Presented to Cher Mong in recognition of your unwavering dedication, outstanding contributions, and commitment to the empowerment and advancement of the Hmong community. Your efforts fostering unity, preserving culture, and striving for excellence serve as an inspiration to all.
Would anyone like to sing that? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Judge Javeliano for arranging. So my name is Walter Masuda. I'm the treasurer of the Japanese American Citizens League. Many of you know that it was Judge Javeliano who arranged this whole educational event and made it possible for Jim to speak, and for he held a reenactment of the Korematsu trial in one of the courtrooms this afternoon. And so the JACL just wanted to give him a thank you letter, if I may be permitted to do that. we just wanted to give you this thank you letter. I won't read the whole thing. I will just say, on behalf of the Marysville chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League, we extend our heartfelt appreciation for your exceptional work in conducting the reenactment of the Korematsu versus the United States for local students and member of the public. I also want to say here, too, we are especially grateful that your program created the opportunity for local-born citizen Jim Tanimoto, now 103, to share his personal story. Your dedication to public education, historical truth, and civic engagement strengthens our community and ensures that the lessons of Korematsu versus the United States remain alive for future generations. We deeply appreciate the time, preparation, and care you invested in this reenactment and in fostering a deeper understanding of our shared history. So this is a thank you letter from us. Thank you. And then, because we know of your interest in Filipino history, this is a document from the historical archives of the Marysville chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League from 1943, and is an excerpt from the inaugural address of His Excellency Jose P. Laurel, President of the Republic of the Philippines, delivered October 14th, 1943. And it's a concept of the loyal public servant, and we feel it embodies you. And so I won't read the whole thing, but I will say here, loyalty to duty should best be exemplified by our public officers and employees who receive compensation from the state. Public service, in order to be deserving of popular faith and confidence, must be infused with a new meaning and based on the highest considerations of morality. Our public functionaries shall be faithful servants of the people, tall, strong men, and pure, self-sacrificing women who will safeguard the public interest like a vestal fire. We would like to give you this historical document as a thank you for arranging this educational event. Thank you.
I just can't thank you all enough. As you know, I worked for Sutter County Council. I see a lot of familiar faces here, people that I had the opportunity to work with in my career. I want to thank you all, public servants, who inspired me to continue to work and serve this community. It's the greatest professional accomplishment of my life. I want to thank our honorable board and our chair, the JACL, the TCFAA, all the other Asian American associations that have worked so hard to serve our community. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it.
I just, after seeing that video today at noon, I was wondering if that video might be online someplace where some of these other folks could see it. It's an incredible video that we watched today.
Absolutely. I'll make sure to see it.
There were over, what was there, nine schools that you coordinated?
Over 150 students.
Over 150 students. It was incredible. It was really amazing. I mean, what you do here for the community, it's incredible. You were at a career fair last month, and you hosted everyone here, helped put this together. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
All right, if we could have our Assemblyman James Gallagher come down to the floor, please. Former Sutter County Supervisor.
On behalf of the Sutter County Board of Supervisors, thank you for your leadership in securing up to $9 million in USDA assistance to support local peach farmers following the closure of the Del Monte processing facility. Your bipartisan efforts have provided critical relief to growers in Sutter County, Yuba County, and the surrounding region during a time of significant hardship. This funding will help sustain local agriculture, preserve family farms, and strengthen the resilience of our farming community.
Well, thank you. I certainly appreciate that recognition. But look, this has been a community effort. always appreciated the ability to serve and, working with all of you. I think, Carm, you called me about this, early on. I see Runji Davitt back there, and Rob Baines, came to my office to really express how dire the situation was. Jeff, I think you helped organize the town hall. I know many of you guys were all there. And we had a lot of growers show up, just across the street here at the Veterans Memorial Hall to talk about solutions and see what we could do. It was really good to see this all come together, and certainly in working with Congressman Thompson, who worked very hard on the federal level to bring this about, and the Trump administration, who ultimately put this together through the USDA to make sure that $9 million was made available through the existing programming that we had to help our growers who are in a dire situation. And that's what we do. We all come together at all levels of government, our community, when we have something tough, come at us. And so, I feel like that's always been the strength of this community. So I think it was all of us coming together, and I'm certainly glad to have played a role in that. And more things to come. We're in tough times. This Prop 50 and the way they ripped our communities apart is making it very difficult for our region to have a voice. And that's something that I'm very, very concerned about. That's why I'm out there battling to make sure that we do have a voice and that we continue to have a voice back in Washington, D.C. But no matter what, it's going to be all of us banding together and staying together. And I'll be asking you guys for a little support on a resolution I'm doing in the state. And I think we need to make a statement. And I think we need to make sure that we have that kind of representation. And it may really require us to get statehood to do that. So you may have heard I've introduced that in the state. I'm somebody who's worked for 12 years trying to find solutions to problems. But when they take away your very right to have your own voice, your own representation, it's a dire situation. When we see the Air Resources Board shut down our trucks, our businesses, our industries, when we see the Water Resources Board completely ignore us and shut off our water, and when we see our PG&E rates just keep going up and up and up, and there seems to be no recourse, our gas prices go up. We're in probably the toughest time I've ever seen, and it's going to take this community and all of us coming together. And so appreciate you guys, recognizing these efforts. But again, it's a community effort. And again, in these times, more than ever, we need to unite. We need to band together and make sure that we can provide for our people. So thank you for this, and looking forward to more to come.
Sometimes, we lost our congressman a while back, and when you lose a congressman like Doug LaMaffa, you start to think about how spoiled you were. Doug always answered the phone. He was our voice. He was the guy that fought for us. And, for 7 years, you fought for Sutter County, moved on to state assembly for the last 12 years. He fought for our families, fought for our farmers, fought for our water. He is a farmer. He's a small business owner. He's got a family. He fought for all the beliefs that we believe in. And we've been spoiled to have you as long as we've had you. And I hope to have you a little longer. I like having that guy that answers the phone, that knows exactly what my family's going through and what my company's going through, and a guy that's fighting for us here. And there's a lot of funds that we, at the county level, we go with the state, and we try to get as much funds as we can from the state, especially having another voice there at the federal level. That's a big deal for Sutter County and the people of all the surrounding counties. But thank you for what you do. Thank you.
Will Brenda Stranix please join the board to receive a proclamation recognizing May 3rd through the 9th, 2026 as National Small Business Week? National Small Business Week is a time to recognize and celebrate the vital role that small businesses play in our local economy, fostering innovation, creating jobs, and contributing to the vibrant fabric of our community. Small businesses in Sutter County are the backbone of our local economy, driving economic growth, supporting families, and enriching the quality of life for all residents. National Small Business Week provides an opportunity to highlight the achievements of Sutter County's small business owners, entrepreneurs, and their dedicated employees. It is important to recognize the hard work, dedication, and resilience of our small business owners, who face challenges and adapt to changing times while creating valuable goods and services for our community. Supporting small local businesses strengthens Sutter County and helps ensure its continued growth and prosperity. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim May 3rd through the 9th, 2026 as National Small Business Week. We urge all residents to support local small businesses throughout the week and year, and to celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit that makes our community a vibrant and prosperous place to live and work.
Thank you all for the recognition. As your Chamber of Commerce in the two-county region, we appreciate the support of you all. And of course, our first point of contact is our local small businesses. So that's what we're here for, and that's what we'll continue to do. We appreciate this recognition.
Thank you.
Will Jaylene Kurtz please join the board to receive a proclamation recognizing May 6th through the 12th, 2026 as National Nurses Week? The American Nurses Association has declared the week of May 6th through the 12th, 2026 as National Nurses Week and celebrates this year's theme, The Power of Nurses, to honor the various roles of nurses as well as the positive impact nurses have on everyone's lives in Sutter County. The nearly 4.4 million nurses in the United States comprise our nation's largest healthcare profession. The nursing profession meets the different and emerging healthcare needs of the American population in a wide range of settings. The nursing profession is an indispensable component in the safety and quality of care of all patients in Sutter County. Greater numbers of qualified nurses will be needed in the future to meet the increasingly complex needs of healthcare consumers in our community. The cost-effective, safe, and quality healthcare services provided by nurses is and will continue to be an ever more important component of the U.S. healthcare delivery system. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim the week of May 6th through the 12th, 2026 as National Nurses Week, and ask that all residents of this county join in honoring the many nurses who care for all of us in Sutter County.
Hey,
You know, I do want to say something, and I wasn't going to speak. Absolutely. And I wasn't going to, but I feel completely honored to be in a position today to be with this gentleman and to be with the people who have struggled, the farmers that are losing their peach, their support. And, I've been a behavioral health nurse for 26 years, and I have a group of, all of these nurses work with the community. And the American Nurses Association defines nurses as the protection, promotion, and optimization of health, prevention of illness and injury, facilitation of healing, alleviation of suffering, and advocacy for individuals, families, groups, communities, and populations. We've been able to be there for people who are going through the struggles of this gentleman and the struggles of the farmers. It's not just people you see on the street that are homeless and struggling. It's every one of you. And what an honor. And to have all of the nurses of Sutter County, I'm so proud. So proud to be here and honored. Thank you.
Will Neil Hay and Ken Straw please join the board to receive proclamations recognizing May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week. Public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the County of Sutter. These infrastructure, facilities, and services cannot be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. It is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the County of Sutter to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. The year 2026 marks the 66th Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors does hereby designate the week May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week in the County of Sutter and calls upon all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life.
All right, Steve, were you able to get a picture? All right, I got to give a big round of applause to this group right here, because this is the group right here that is working around the clock during the winter time when you're inside your house enjoying the nice heater. They're out there making sure the ditches are unplugged, making sure the water's flowing, just helping keep trees off, move them off the road when they fall in the middle of the road. And this group goes a long ways right here. They do everything they can with the little amount of, with as little as they are, they do the greatest. And I'm really appreciative of all that what you do. If the other day I had a call, something was in the road, this group was right out there within the next half hour, mobilized, cleaning it up. It happened, I believe, yesterday, or was that this morning? And someone had dropped about a 1-inch size gravel right there about a quarter-mile stretch of the road. Very dangerous. And they were out there cleaning it up as soon as can be. That's what they do at any given notice. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Guadalupe, you want to say anything?
I don't kneel. Maybe on behalf of Development Services, I'll help my team out. Certainly we appreciate this recognition for our staff. I think, at least on behalf of maybe myself and Ken, I think everyone sees us, maybe talks to us a fair amount because we're at so many meetings. But it's really our staff that's out in the roads, maintaining the bridges, the ditches, the county's facilities, the county's buildings, right? All the infrastructure that we have for both for our employees and for our citizens, that these are the staff that are doing it. And we try to be as efficient, as effective as possible with all of our tax dollars and provide a good return on the tax money that's invested to our county. But it's these employees that, work tirelessly to Chair Ziegemeyer's point, definitely 24/7, right? At all hours of the day, in all kinds of weather, our staff are out there. And then additionally, we have staff in the offices, right? All of our administrative staff that support everyone in the field. So it is quite a team effort, and we just appreciate this recognition.
Will Alyssa Valenzuela please join the board to accept a proclamation recognizing May 2026 as Older Americans Month? May is Older Americans Month, a time for us to recognize and honor Sutter County's older adults and their immense influence on every facet of American society. Nearly 24,000 Sutter County residents are now 60 years of age or older, representing 24% of the total population. Sutter County is committed to strengthening our community by connecting with and supporting older adults, their families, and caregivers, and acknowledging their many valuable contributions to society. The 2026 theme for Older Americans Month, Champion Your Health, focuses on prevention, wellness, and personal responsibility as cornerstones of healthy aging. Communities benefit when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds have the opportunity to participate and live independently. Sutter County must ensure that older Americans have the resources and support needed to stay involved in their communities, reflecting our commitment to inclusivity and connectedness. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Older Americans Month. We urge every resident to take time during this month to recognize older adults and the people who serve them as essential and valuable members of our community.
Chess.
Hi guys, good afternoon. My name is Elisa Valenzuela and I'm a Nutrition Program Supervisor for Agency on Aging Area 4. On behalf of Agency on Aging Area 4, I'd like to sincerely thank the Sutter County Board of Supervisors for this recognition and the proclamation honoring Older Americans Month. We're truly honored to accept this. It reflects a shared commitment to the well-being, dignity, and independence of older adults throughout our communities. At Agency on Aging Area 4, we are proud to serve as a partner in delivering essential services that support healthy aging, including nutrition, care coordination, and community-based support. We are especially proud of our direct service programs, including Meals on Wheels Yuba-Sutter, which continues to provide vital nutrition and wellness support to older adults who depend on these services to remain safely at home. We appreciate the board's continued support and recognition of the importance of aging services, and we look forward to continuing our work together to strengthen the lives of older adults across Sutter County and the region. Thank you.
Thank you and all that you do for our seniors. Thank you. Jeff.
Will Dr. Michelle Blake please join the board to receive a proclamation recognizing May 2026 as Perinatal Mental Health Month?
You're fine. You're good. You're good. Totally good.
More than 1,257 babies are born in Sutter County each year, and perinatal mental health, including mental health before, during, and after pregnancy, is a critical component of the health and well-being of parents, infants, and families, and is therefore of significant interest to the County of Sutter. Between 10 and 20% of pregnant and postpartum individuals experience perinatal mental health, including depression, anxiety, and psychosis, which are often overlooked and stigmatized, contributing to feelings of confusion, isolation, and shame. Many individuals at risk for perinatal mental health conditions may not seek help due to limited awareness, inconsistent screening and assessment practices, and lack of information about available treatment and community-based support services. Increased awareness and education throughout Sutter County are essential, as perinatal mental health affects individuals of all ages, races, and income levels. And untreated perinatal mental health conditions can significantly impact family well-being, parent-infant bonding, and child developmental and behavioral outcomes. Perinatal mental health conditions are highly treatable through early identification, evidence-based interventions, professional therapy and counseling, peer and community supports, and coordinated systems of care, including local initiatives such as the Blue Shift Project and crisis support resources. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Perinatal Mental Health Awareness Month in Sutter County, and calls upon residents, government agencies, public and private institutions, and businesses to promote awareness, reduce stigma, encourage the use of perinatal screening tools, and improve access to effective prevention, treatment, and support services that strengthen perinatal and infant mental health.
Dr. Blake.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and board members. Thank you so much for recognizing May as Perinatal Mental Health Month and helping us shine a light on this situation that happens to so many of us. 1 in 5 moms experience some type of perinatal mood and anxiety disorder, baby blues, whatever you may want to call it. So around town during the month of May, you'll see this big blue dot helping us elevate awareness and decreasing stigmas around perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. So thank you again for recognizing May as Perinatal Mental Health Month.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Will Betsy Gowan please join the board to receive a proclamation recognizing May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month? Mental health is an essential part of the overall health and well-being of individuals, families, and communities throughout the county. Mental health conditions affect residents of all ages, backgrounds, and communities, with 1 in 5 individuals experiencing a mental health challenge in any given year. Stigma, discrimination, and misinformation surrounding mental health remain significant barriers that prevent many individuals from seeking the support and care they need. Promoting education, awareness, and open dialogue about mental health helps reduce stigma, increases understanding, and fosters a more supportive and compassionate Sutter County community. Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health, local organizations, schools, healthcare providers, and community partners play a vital role in delivering critical support, treatment, outreach, and hope to individuals and families. Communities across the country observe May as Mental Health Awareness Month to raise awareness, encourage access to services, and strengthen collective efforts to support mental health. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim May as Mental Health Awareness Month and encourages all residents, organizations, and community partners to increase their understanding of mental health, support one another with empathy, and foster a community where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Wow. What for mental health, when you look at the suicide rate, what's the percentage for one just to reach out for help? What is that percentage? I don't know that percentage. What was that? What was that? It was it's what I'm getting at is everyone needs a little help. Everyone could use help. And these amazing people right here, they have a whole group that offers it, and it's really easy to reach out. It's too easy. But people are ashamed to reach out. They're ashamed. They feel helpless. But we implore you to reach out. Make that call. Make the phone call. Go to the office. That's what they're here for. And thank you for everything that you do. Thank you.
And I would like to say that the other side of reaching out is what we all can do when we see someone having a bad day. Just to tell them they matter and really listen to them makes a huge impact and helps people get back to a better side of things. I also like to say one thing about mental health. We all have it. We all learn all the things we got to do to take care of our heart, right? We got to start learning what to do to take care of our mental health and taking care of it every day.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you.
Will Josh Thomas please join the board to receive a proclamation recognizing May 2026 as National Foster Care Month? Sutter County relies on foster homes due to the number of traumatized children found to be at risk and being removed from their own homes because of sexual abuse, physical abuse, parental absence or incapacity, or exploitation. Sutter County recognizes that all children need love, support, security, and a safe place to call home. Sutter County has children placed with foster parents in the counties of Sutter, Butte, Contra Costa, Fresno, Sacramento, Placer, Merced, Tehama, and Yuba, who have opened their hearts and their homes to the children of Sutter County in times of crisis, providing a safe, loving, and supportive home environment due to their commitment to the needs of children. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as National Foster Care Month.
Thank you so much for this acknowledgement. And foster care is not child welfare's first, second, or third favorite option. But boy, when you need it, you need it. You need that time to keep a child safe so that the adults and the court can figure out what to do for their safety, permanency, and well-being. And I am so thankful for the parents in our community that have a large heart to get certified and do this very important work. So big shout out to all of them. And then our child welfare workers who protect children from abuse and neglect and arrange for foster care when appropriate and return when appropriate. Or permanency. So one thing that just comes to my mind, I'm going to keep it very brief because it's been a lot of proclamations, but just last week we had our independent living skills graduation and celebration of the end of the year. And one of the male youth who were in their teens, we were doing a gratitude activity. Everybody was saying what they're grateful for. Could have said anything. What he said was, I'm grateful for foster care because I have a safe place to sleep at night. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, and that'll be it for presentations. We'll wait for right, well, thank you very much. We're just waiting for everyone to walk out. All right, we're going to move on to public comment. Members of the public will be allowed to address the board on items of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors. State law provides that no discussion or action may be taken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. All right, do we have any comments?
Yes, we have 3. The first is Tina Hessong.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. Do you recognize the name King Abdullah of Jordan, Fresh Del Monte, Mohammed Abu Ghazala? What connection do they have to Sutter County? I'll tell you. Totalitarian control. Don Wilson, author and New Californian, has presented the argument that the Del Monte bankruptcy is a sellout, not a true bankruptcy. Totalitarians are attacking our food security through mergers and acquisitions. Chapter 11 is not bankruptcy like Chapter 7. Mohammed Abu Ghazala, a Jordanian, will take the Del Monte Corporation, sell off the profitable parts, cancel the contracts of our local family farms, and let Jordan purchase and control our farming resources. Jordan is not a part of the United States compact. Why should they own land or resources here in the United States of America? Thank you all for going to DC and securing that $9 million for our community. It was amazing and appreciated, but I'm sure it doesn't even begin to cover the cost of losing the trees and the crops. It's heartbreaking to see the trees being removed from our beautiful fields. What will be planted next? And who will control those crops? Will the land be sold to a foreign country or to another corporation? Totalitarians want our money, they want our guns, and they want our food supply. I think Don Wilson is correct, and they just made a major play. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the next comment.
Next speaker is Ranjit David.
Turn the mic on, please.
Thank you. First time here. Okay, my name is Ranjit David. I'm a local peach farmer here in Sutter County, and I just wanted to come here today, thank the Board of Supervisors for orchestrating such a quick response to the Del Monte bankruptcy and the loss of the growers' contracts. Without your collaborative effort, bringing together Assemblyman James Gallagher and Representative Mike Thompson, you fast-forwarded this program. I can certainly tell you. Today, we may not even have had this program without all of your help. The $9 million that we were able to obtain, the association, Peach County, California County Peach Association will be adding $1.5 million to the $9 million and distributing out basically about $25 a ton to each grower. Where we believe that the payment that each grower will probably receive is about $150 from USDA. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Sutter County Ag Commissioner Lisa Herbert. Her letter was extremely instrumental, I can tell you right now. And so thank you again on myself and on behalf of the California County Peach Association. You didn't just touch this community, several communities down the state. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, next comment.
Tony Farley.
Tony.
Tony Farley, Northview City, 1298 Willow Creek Drive, Northview City, in District 1, I believe, where is Jeb Boone's. Jeff Boone, also Mike Nelly, the gun guy. Thank you Jeff Stevens for his service, Pumpkin Farmhouse, like Jeff Stevens. Thank you, Darth Vader over here, Dan Flores. Thank you, Mike Ziegelmeyer over here, Ziegelmeyer. Thank you, Carl Baines. Thank you, Carl Baines. And thank you, Jeff Boone. Thank you, Zachary Hamble, Alexander Hamble, the constitutionalist. Thank you, Nicholas, the tax collector, right? Vote him for office. Thank you, James Gallagher, Congressman James Gallagher. Thank you, Professor Steve Smith. Thank you, President Will Bill. Thank you, Commandant of the Marine Corps, Scott Hansen. Thank you, the baddest finisher ever, Brandon Barnes. And thank you, two-star Incredible Hulk, Incredibles guy from Disney Incredibles. Thank you, rookie young deputy over there. Thank you, Sarah Rio. Thank you, Sarah Rio. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Tion Hesson. At the meeting, I'm going to give the French fries and Coca-Cola from McDonald's to Hesson. Thank you to Japanese guy. Japanese guy went drinking for the Japanese guy in history book. Japanese guy who been in internment camp. Thank him for his service to protest against the federal government and trap Japanese citizens in concentration camps. That could be me in World War II in that Japanese camp. Thank you, Neil, Countess Neil. Thank you, Stephanie and Gina, and Stephanie and Gina. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Jamie. Hey, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, handsome guy over there. And thank you, probation marshal's chief. Thank you, HR Veronica. And thank you, Sarah. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Tony. All right, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. The consent calendar groups together those items which are considered non-controversial, for which prior policy direction has been given to staff and that require only routine action by the board. The chair will advise the audience that the matters may be adopted in total by one motion. However, the board may, at its option or upon request of a member of public, consider any matter separately.
To the chair.
Yes, sir.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Got a motion by Supervisor Baines, second by Supervisor Stevens. Can I get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeyer?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to appearance items, number 16.
Public hearing to consider adoption of a resolution updating the Natomas Basin mitigation fee for 2026 for authorized development under the Natomas Basin Habitat Conservation Plan.
Good afternoon, Chair and Supervisors. Neil Hay, Development Service. So this item is going to be presented by our Principal Planner, Christina.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the board. My name is Christina Hassman. I am the Principal Planner for the Development Services. And today I'm going to present a resolution for adoption for the Natomas Basin Habitat Conservation Plan. The Natomas Basin is a portion of South Sutter County that is approximately 7,467 acres. These acres within the county are used to preserve wetlands, rice farming, and to conserve and protect endangered species. Through an implementation agreement that began in 2021, the county and the Natomas Basin Conservatory worked together to collect mitigation fees. These fees are paid to the county and then passed on to the conservatory every time grading permits are issued and ground is disturbed within the county. In 2025, 2 grading permits were issued for approximately 0.075 acres of land, and the fee collected was $3,456. Part of the implementation agreement is that the county and the conservatory have to adopt an annual fee increase based on the associated costs. That report is included in the staff report. The annual increase for 2026 comes out to $536 per disturbed acre of land, and I am requesting a motion to adopt a resolution adopting the 2026 fees. And that is my presentation, and I can answer any questions.
Well, I'm going to open up the public hearing first. Do we have any public hearing? All right, we're going to close the public hearing.
Through the chair.
And bring back for the board. Yes.
Move approval.
Second.
We got a motion by Supervisor Flores, second by Supervisor Baines. Can I get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores? Aye. Supervisor Ziegenmeier?
Yes.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on, item number 17.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Public hearing to consider approval of Project U 240001, a zoning code text amendment to the Sutter County Zoning Code to incorporate revisions regarding small and large general truck yards.
Good afternoon, Chair and Supervisors. Once again, Neil Hay from Development Services. So this are some proposed changes to the county zoning code specifically related to truck yards. As you may recall, prior to 2019, there were a number of truck yards that were approved throughout the county. There was a lot of concern and comments by citizens. So there was an ad hoc committee that was composed of members of the general public and county supervisors. There were 19 meetings overall. And the outcome of those meetings were changes to the zoning code. One of the most significant was that a truck yard, whether a small yard, which was 5 trucks or less, or a large, more than 5 trucks, would require a use permit anywhere in the county. Subsequent to that, the county received, our department received truck yard applications that eventually began to go into the agricultural lands of the county because truck yard, whether they were truck yard owners or trucking company owners, saw that if they had a need as the economy and need to expand their fleet, they were looking for land that they could develop. And with the price differentials between commercially zoned and agriculturally zoned land, there are a few truck yards that essentially were processed by Development Services and were subsequently approved by the, recommended for approval by the Planning Commission, and then some came before your board. As a series, subsequent to that, our department and your board had a number of studies done. We used a consultant. We received a grant through SACOG and for $100,000. And it analyzed 4 sites spread throughout the county that were commercial sites, commercially zoned. And they looked at the noise and the air quality and the sound issues related to truck yards. And the results of their study were that the impacts of truck yards could be mitigated usually quite easily with conditions that were already in our zoning code. For example, you could put an 8-foot fence or a 6-foot fence even with slats, and that would reduce some of the unsightliness. The noise ordinance was, or the county enacted a noise ordinance that reduces the decibel level at the property line. And so reefer trucks that run and stuff, they just need to be located on a certain distance away from residences. So our department presented, those studies to your board, and your board asked us to look into text amendments for truck yards. So one of the key tenets, one of the general plan policies, and I'll just read for it, is agricultural land conversion. So discourage the conversion of agricultural land to other uses unless all of the following findings can be made, which net community benefit, no feasible alternative locations, and the use will not have significant adverse effects. And so our department, in looking at that as a general plan policy and the fact that truck yards were being allowed to, could be located in agricultural land through a use permit, we developed the zoning code text amendments that are included in your staff report. I can summarize that what we're proposing is that truck yards would be allowed on M1 ground, so light industrial or heavy industrial ground with what's required a zoning clearance. So that is, it can be an over-the-counter approval if the land is already zoned M1 or M2. If someone wanted to come in and rezone had another zoning, they would have to rezone it in order to do that. rezoning requires a CEQA document, right? An initial study and actions before the Planning Commission and the board. If someone wants to have a truck yard out in agricultural land, they can still do that. The zoning code would allow them. They would just have to get a use permit, which is the current requirement. And that requires the environmental studies and the impacts to be addressed. We're only looking, and so the premise here is we're looking to encourage truck yards to develop on land that is either already zoned M1 or M2, or the property owners or applicants would come to our department seeking to rezone a piece of property so that it could be considered for a truck yard. But in the analysis of that rezone, we would look if that was an appropriate location. For example, would it have a stay route if those are the type of trucks that would be serviced? And how close is it to, for example, a state route? I think we've all seen that, the state trucks, if they have to go through residential areas or if they have to go too far on county roads, sometimes they can have, damaging effects on road systems that were not intended for that much weight on a regular basis. And so that there are a few other key changes that we're recommending is that if the ground was zoned M1 or M2 and someone wanted to put a truck yard, there would not be the notification of the residents within a half-mile radius. That would still occur if someone was wanting to do a truck yard in any other zone property, M1 or M2, other than M1 or M2. The truck yards, we would consider if someone came and wanted to do a truck yard on M1 or M2 ground, it would have to be related to a stay route. For example, if those are the type of trucks to be serviced. So just because a piece of ground is zoned M1, if it doesn't have a stay route, it's not eligible to have stay trucks, right? There's a separate process that has to go through our department and through Caltrans. Once those improvements are made and there's a stay route, then the department could receive the application. And then finally, for projects that would be related adjacent to a state route, they would have to conform with the Caltrans standards, right, for acceleration lanes, turn lanes, deceleration lanes. If in the information that was not submitted to our department with an application, then we would deny it, and there is an opportunity for that to be appealed, and it can require further study. But what we're looking to do is, if there are truck yards that need to develop and want to locate in Sutter County, that we can encourage them to be more along state route corridors or on, adjacent to interchanges, for example, or other areas, and they'll have less of an impact on neighboring residents. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Mr. Chairman?
Well, hold on. We're going to open up for public comment. Is there any public comment?
Yes, we have three. The first speaker is Doreen Fuller.
Okay, before public comment, yes.
Yeah, I'd just like to make statements. I've reviewed this matter, and I have property that would be affected by the change in the zoning code. So I'll be recusing myself and will not be participating in the discussion or the vote on this matter.
All right. All right, thank you.
Is that okay, Council?
All right. All right. So we'll open up public comment then.
Hi, Doreen Fuller of Oswald Road. I hope I understand this all correctly. I might not. But by making a zoning, this allows for a zoning clearance by ministerial action, which is essentially pre-approval, versus a use permit. And the staff comment said that CEQA doesn't apply. Well, it doesn't apply if it's a ministerial, but in a use permit, CEQA and some of the environmental considerations would be applicable. And use permit, as it says in your own report, is more discretionary. Given how mitigated negative declarations have been used by the Development Department in the past, that concerns me, that we could end up in situations like we have had at Oswald Road, even though it says it's not definitely applicable to truck yards. The other thing is the removal of the early notification within a half mile for the commercial and employment districts. Unless you're a Board of Supervisors groupie, you won't know if something's going to change in your neighborhood unless you get notified about it. So even though we would still be notified if it was a truck yard or a trucking operation, I feel that citizens should be notified in the commercial and employment districts. So I would encourage those two portions of the amendment to be reconsidered. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Sukhvinder Bungle.
Hi, my name is Sukhvinder Bungle, and I live in that Oswald area close to Doreen. And I have the same concerns as she does. I don't like the fact that the early notification's just been striked out. We fought very hard for that notification. When I moved in, I had maybe one truck yard in my neighborhood. Now I have 9, and I wasn't notified of any of them. So I'd like to get notification when there's a truck yard going in my neighborhood, close to it. Sorry. So I just want to reiterate that we want to keep that in there. Also, I didn't get a chance to look at the whole, all the zoning changes that they're proposing, but a lot of this other stuff that concerns me also is that in the agriculture area, you can have a truck yard, and we like to preserve our county as an agricultural county, so we shouldn't be allowing truck yards to go into ag property. And also, the county identified 3 or 4 areas through this study, the $100,000 study that Neil, Director Hay mentioned, and those areas should be used as truck yards. There's plenty of property right around, in our area, around Tudor, that has the old 113 that goes directly on the highway. There's an interchange available, so public doesn't have to spend any money on putting a traffic light or any of that nonsense, you know. And the road is heavy enough that it won't get damaged. I drive on Garden Highway, and all the trucks are going down on Garden Highway now, and it's all beat up. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it, but it's got potholes everywhere. And that was a beautiful road 5-6 years ago. So those are my only concerns about the zoning code. Zoning code changes. I'd like to take a step back if we could delay it for another week or 2, and we can take a look at it in more detail, and you guys can have your input on what's best for the county.
All right, thank you very much. I do want to comment on one thing. So almost 70% of the county sits in a FEMA flood zone. So that's one reason why you don't see, gosh, I think our last variance was given, the gas station on Acacia Avenue in my district was the last variance given right before FEMA put the flood maps and signed into the flood maps. I would love to see a gas station, a truck stop right there off of Tudor. Would love it. It would be huge for the county. Trust me, we've been trying for the last few years, but it's mitigating FEMA. But I agree with you.
Our next speaker is Manjeet Bungle.
All right, thank you. Oh, he said it all. All right. All right, thank you very much. All right, so.
Sorry, we do have one more. Our last speaker is Tiara Harpreet.
All right.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Harpreet Tiara. Actually, I'm agree with Mr. Neal. M1 and M2 zoning should be approved for the truck terminals, and we don't have to go through all of the other stuff, because M1 and M2 zoning, we pay almost over $500,000 per acre. You can buy the farmland $20,000 an acre all day long. There's not enough land for M1 and M2 zoning. Only the reason we spend $500,000 per acre to buy the zoning rights. And these people, I don't know what their problem is. If they bought the house at the wrong spot, they should study first. It's a commercial area. It's not a residential area. It's not our problem. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, no more public comments? All right, we're going to close the public comment. We're going to bring it back to the board for discussion. Supervisor Flores?
Through the chair, yeah.
Yes.
Neil, can you just go over the notification portion again? That was brought up twice, so I'd like to understand that more clearly.
Sure. So based on the outcome of the 2019 ad hoc committee, one of the changes to the zoning code text amendment So typically with other planning projects, neighbors within 500 feet of a property get notice of a land use application to our department that is discretionary, more than just an over-the-counter approval. When it came to truck yards, between the comments of the residents and the board, that was specifically identified as a half-mile radius. So when our department receives an application for this type of project, a discretionary project, and a use permit, then all the property owners that are within a half mile, based on the county's GIS, we look at all the property records, they receive a letter that we've received, an application, for a use permit at the subject address, and then they're notified, and then they, obviously can follow along because it's going to come through, a use permit process, which is it's processed by staff, and then there's a public approval process. One of the items to be clear about, so M1, M2 ground already had all of the public review and approval, and the CEQA document was already done. It was done in 2010 when the county did the general plan. That was all studied. Those documents are all available on the department's website. And that's somewhat to the point that the M1 ground has already, and it has development standards that are different from residential standards or agricultural standards. Those are called out within our zoning code. And a lot of the requirements of the 2019 ad hoc committee changes, for example, having garbage cans in bathrooms and the number of tires, all that still remains. It's just that if it's what it takes to have a truck yard in M1's ground or M2 ground. And that's, like I say, just because the property is existing. If there was a subject parcel that was, like I say, identified as ag, they could either seek a use permit and go through that CEQA requirement and discretionary approval. It goes planning commission, and it can ultimately come to the board, or they would have to rezone the property first, and then they could submit an application. But those are the things that requires all of that, the CEQA documents and all of the public approval. It would require all the public noticing. So we're only looking, like I say, we're looking to, these changes would affect property that is currently zoned either M1 or M2 within the county, and some of it is in the vicinity of the State Route 99 and 113 interchange, and certainly some of it is within the 4 areas that were studied by the SACOG grant of 100. That's part of the reason, is that some of that ground was already studied and it's already M1 ground, and SACOG already did the study for noise, air quality, so noise, air quality, and traffic, that there aren't any impacts to those sites. And we presented those findings and stuff to your board. So that was, somewhat the basis of our, recommended changes to the zoning code as a way to try to direct that type of, commercial development to area that's already zoned for it, as opposed to having it happen, throughout the county on ag land.
All
right, yes, sir.
Neil, and forgive me, I'm having a hard time understanding all this. So why bring this up to us now? We've already studied it we already got the money to study it and everything else. What is driving this change?
So what's driving this change is the result of the studies. So I'm personally, personally would receive, and our department would receive comments from the agricultural community that we're allowing truck yards to develop in the agricultural community, and it's affecting the land prices. So if someone wants to put in an orchard, but a truck yard operator will pay more for that land, the existing property owner may sell to the truck yard. And then a truck yard shows up, and then an orchard can't, an orchard operator may not be able to expand his agricultural operation in an agricultural basin. Sometimes, to Chair Zickermeyer's point, some of that land is in a floodplain. So then there are development challenges within that floodplain. And yes, you can have a truck yard, but sometimes that ground is prime agricultural land, right, as identified. And so, and the changes do not preclude, the changes we're recommending would not change anything for anyone who wanted to have a truck yard in ag ground. That's still totally allowed. You just have to get a use permit. It's about $100,000 is what landowners, property owners have spent in order to do the environmental documents and pay the county's processing fees. And so, but for property that's already zoned M1 or M2, and like I say, that was done through a general plan, which is kind of an EIR level document in 2008, 2010, is adopted. That land, it's already had all the environmental analysis. And what happens is if someone wants to rezone a piece of ground to M1 and they say, I don't know what I want to do, then it can look at like, okay, what may be the worst use? But if, like I say, if something that, so the impacts have already been studied if it's M1 or M2 ground. And we're, like I say, once again, just trying to essentially lower the cost of development. If the county is going to allow truck yards, we'd prefer they be closer to the state route ideally. That's probably the best case farm. It's most efficient for everyone. And that's where most of the M1 and M2 ground is.
All right, is there any other questions? I want to commend you, Neil. Thank you very much. This is something we've been, I was looking forward to this almost 3 years ago. It's a long time in the making to finally get to this point. All right, and we're going to, if there's no more discussion, I'll look for a motion. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the recommended action.
All right, looking for a second.
I'll second it.
All right, can I get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right, moving on to item number 18.
Public hearing to consider Project U24-0017, a general plan amendment from estate residential to commercial and a rezone from estate residential to commercial industrial to restrict for the subject 4.21 acre parcel located at 1280 Walnut Avenue, Yuba City, California, 95991 on the southeast corner of State Highway 99 and Walnut Avenue, south of the city of Yuba City.
So for the chair and supervisors, our senior planner, Casey, is going to present this matter.
Yes, thank you. So Casey Murray, Senior Planner. This project is a general plan amendment from estate residential to commercial and a rezone from estate residential to commercial industrial for the subject 4.21 acre parcel. The Planning Commission considered this project and staff's recommendation for approval at its April 15, 2026 meeting and recommended approval by a 3-1 vote. So as stated before, the project is located at the southeast corner of Highway 99 and Walnut Avenue. The surrounding area is largely rural and is generally bound by residence and light industrial to the north, Highway 99 to the west with agricultural orchards beyond, Berry Elementary School to the south, and a residence to the east. So the existing aerial photo shows the existing building on the north side of the property. Existing general plan is estate residential, as well as the existing zoning is estate residential. So the applicant did provide a conceptual site plan. No development or use is proposed at this time. The applicant has provided the site plan and landscaping plan, and all improvements shown are conceptual and will need to be approved as part of a future design review application. The design review is a requirement in the commercial industrial zone districts and enables the county to consider site design, architecture, parking, circulation, lighting, landscaping, and other design-related issues. Any new commercial or industrial use will require design review approval, which will ensure compliance with the development standards. The north portion of the site is developed with the 6,300 square foot metal shop building and an attached 3,700 square foot lean-to. The building will remain and is proposed to be updated by repairing damaged and unsightly areas. So 5 parking spaces are shown on the north side of the building. The lean-to portion of the building may be utilized for 10 covered spaces. Any future commercial or industrial use will require paved parking and circulation areas as required by the zoning code. And as indicated by the Environmental Health Division, the existing septic system located on the west side of the shop building does not meet current standards and will need to be destroyed as part of under a permit. And so at the time a septic system is needed, soil testing will be required, and an authorized professional will be required to design any septic system proposed for commercial use. An existing water well is located on the eastern boundary of the property. The site is currently surface drains westerly. A potential a future retention area is located at the south end of the property as depicted on the site plan to mitigate increased stormwater runoff. An existing 6-foot tall chain link fence with privacy slats is located along the southern boundary of the property and along the eastern boundary. So this same fencing is proposed to be located on all sides of the property. And a 45-foot wide driveway and gate are proposed. The landscaping plan, which consists of mature trees, mature oleander and hedge, are located around the perimeter of the site. And new landscaping will include oleander, photinia, and oak trees. And then Article 19 of the zoning code contains agricultural buffering standards. A 300-foot agricultural buffer is required to be maintained on the west half of the site as depicted on the site plan. The buffer setback shall be measured from the property line of the adjacent agricultural property to any new non-agricultural use or structure. The buffer will not apply to the existing building previously permitted on the site or to accessory uses and structures. The proposed commercial designation provides for a mix of neighborhood, community, highway, and retail, office, service, and related uses. This designation is applied primarily within existing rural communities and to new growth areas. So during the general plan update, the project site and surrounding area was included within this Yuba City's possible future expanded sphere of influence and determined to be one of the growth areas in the county. The general plan defines growth areas as areas where new growth and development should be directed within the county. This project was found to be consistent with the general plan policies as it will allow for a commercial or an industrial use along Highway 99 within a designated growth area, and it will allow for an employment and revenue generating land use. So an initial study was prepared for this project in accordance with CEQA. The study determined it could have a potentially significant impacts. 9 mitigation measures have been included to reduce impacts to a less than significant level and were agreed to by the applicant. Therefore, a mitigated negative declaration is proposed. We received written public comments from Michael Steele and Doreen Fuller expressing opposition to this project, and they are included in the staff report. I would just like to clarify that the business advertisement attached to Doreen Fuller's letter is for a business located to the north and is not located on the project site. And I'll also like to clarify that this project does not propose a general truck yard, and if one was proposed in the future, it would require either approval of an administrative permit or a use permit, which are both discretionary entitlements, and they would both be subject to an additional environmental review. So it is recommended that the board approve this project with the findings as listed in the staff report. Thank you.
That being said, we're going to open up the public comment. Is there public comment?
Yes, we have 6. The first speaker is Doreen Fuller.
Thank you. 15 years ago, 2011, this property was designated estate residential. So anybody that bought around that area assumed that this was going to be estate residential. In the intervening years, the owners have attempted to change the zoning for this parcel. It operated illegally for a number of years as a truck yard. And through pressure from neighbors, we were able to, with the district attorney's help, get the land to be in compliance with its zoning. The property owners requested zoning change in 2021, and that was denied. So what has changed since 2021? It's the same owners that were in non-compliance until forced to comply. It's the same desire to eventually have trucking in that location. What has changed? The school is still there. It hasn't moved. Contaminants, if it is zoned industrial. The potential for contaminants affecting the school children exists. This property should never be zoned industrial because of its location next to the school. Commercial, that's different. You know, I don't personally have an objection to that, but commercial industrial is just not advisable. The road is very narrow, so access and egress from that would be interesting. And the comment that the general plan will look at a zoning change for that area, well, then we'll address that at the time when the general plan is revised. Stick with the general plan as it stands now. I believe the Board of Supervisors was correct in 2021 when they denied a zoning change, and I think that you should also deny that change. Thank you.
The next speaker is Sukhvinder Bungal.
My name is Sukhvinder Bungal again from Oswald area. Not to reiterate everything Doreen said, but yes, this was a truck yard, and I kind of confused a little bit. There's a plan for something, some upgrade, but there's no use associated with it. I have talked to the property owner, and he said he wants to put a parts store there, and I told him that I don't have an objection to a parts store, and that can be operated with a commercial zoning. And so why is there industrial being asked for unless it's going to be used for something else? So that's my main concern. The school's still there. I see a retention pond right next to the playing field for the kids at Berry. I have 2 grandkids that go to Berry. So it's very personal for me. And like I said, if it's a parts store, I don't have an objection to it. If this project came with a zoning change for commercial with a parts store, I have no objection to it, you know. But having an open-ended zoning change without any kind of a business associated with it, I don't know if that's common or not, but it seems kind of odd to me. But I see a lot of plans there for building, for all the other stuff for it. What is it for? You know, I don't understand. If the development department says there's no use associated with this plan, then what is the plan for? So if the property owner wants to put a parts store there and comes with a zoning change to commercial, I'm all for it. But I'm not for the industrial in that location right there, because there's Berry School right next to it. There's kids playing right next to that retention pond over there. You know, so like I said, I have no objection to a parts store, but if it's going to eventually become a truck yard, which industrial will allow it to be, as a truck yard with a use permit, and we'll be here again doing the same thing. And some of you guys were here the last time this was a truck yard was removed, and you know how contentious it was in here. So it's going to be the same thing again. So that's all the comments. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Manjeet Bungal.
My name is Manjeet Bungal. Thank you to the supervisors for allowing me to speak. My biggest concern is allowing the zoning change to commercial industrial. Oh, and let's not forget the school on the south side of this property where my grandkids go to. Again, it's personal for us. We live in the area. We've had so many trucks out there, truck yards built while we've been moved in. You know, like I said, we're here again doing the same thing. The last time we were here concerning this property, they were running a trucking business illegally. A cease and desist order had to be given for them to shut down. Giving the new owners this change will open up a lot of doors for the owners. One being with industrial is that they can open a truck yard down the road, and allowing, with the discretion of the development department, which we were told at the planning department, they can give them a use permit. You as a board will not get a say. Why are we even considering a zoning of commercial industrial? The owners have made it known that they want to open a parts store. If that's the case, the owner himself just showed me a 5-year lease agreement. I don't know if it's just a lease agreement or they've come to some agreement. Why are we changing it to commercial industrial? Commercial is fine. If they want to open a parts store, I'm okay with that. But I know down the road, what's going to happen is there will be a truck yard. I can guarantee you there will be a truck yard out there, and you guys will have no say in the matter. I know that I may be wrong, but I'm looking at the next 10-year general plan that may come into effect in 2030, and that's 4 years away from that. And most of these lots will be possibly commercial. Let's change it to commercial now and save us more headache, because I know what will happen. I'm a taxpayer, and I have every right to fight for my area. Some of these people in this room have actually told me that they pay more tax money than I do, so they have the right to do what they can. I'm sorry, I'm fighting for my property. I'm fighting for my children. Thank you.
Next speaker is Amen Singh.
Good evening, members. My name is Eamon Dudwell. I'm here to support the project that is being presented. I want to clarify, I spoke with the applicant. They did say that everyone brings up the truck yard terminal that will show up again. I want to clarify that the applicant already has multiple terminals around the city, even near Tudor. So I wouldn't see the need to have another trucking terminal, especially if it was already denied in the past. So I don't see that in the foreseen future coming back again. And like I spoke with them, they want to bring a parts store. And in general, that just brings in more jobs and economy growth for our community. And I believe that will bring positive benefits for everyone. And especially with the property being situated right on Highway 99, that makes it a very good access spot, especially for regular day use and commercial use. So in general, this parts store would provide services, convenience, and economic activity to the community. So I believe the applicant also has gone through all the proper process with the county and paid all the fees, done all the studies that they needed to for this property. So as someone who supports responsible development in this community, I would appreciate if you respectfully recommend that you approve of this. Thank you.
Next speaker is Tariq Mahmood.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tariq Mahmood, and I will highly recommend to change the zoning because they're going to bring the truck parts, and as the other gentleman said, they already have other properties where they can park their semi-trucks, so I don't see any semi-trucks will be parked, so I will recommend, so it will bring more jobs and more tax. Thank you.
Last speaker is Harpreet Tiara.
Good evening. My name is Harpreet Tiara. Once again, I don't understand what the people's problem is. Everything from farm to the fork, everything brought it to stores, to your house, even the clothes, everything is bringing by the trucks. And they don't want to, if they don't like the trucks, so why they just wear everything, even the clothes? It's all hauled by the trucks, even the food, everything. And even that zoning for the surrounding the area where they're talking about the Walnut Avenue, there's a truck yard right across the street. There's another truck right on the west side of the property. And there's a truck terminal right behind on the south side of the property. Why not him? If everybody else got approved, why not him? I think this guy is getting maybe, I'm sorry to say, maybe getting discriminated, you know? Because there's a truck yard right across the street where the property is, and there's a truck yard right on the west side of the property, and there's a truck yard on the south side of the property. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we're going to close the public comment unless there's any more comment. And, yes, sir.
Through the chair, maybe I could clarify some, because obviously we realize this parcel does have a history. It's been before your board. It's been through our department, and I realize it creates a lot of anxiety and concern in the community. I wanted to kind of point out something it's in the title, and so it's specified. So the rezone is going from estate residential to commercial industrial, or CM, right? That's the county's designation is CM. That's not M1 and that's not M2. So if this was to be a truck yard, it would require a use permit. Your consideration of this rezone would not allow a truck yard to exist there. If a truck yard were to begin to operate, it would be subject to code enforcement. We just had a study session regarding code enforcement and the more stringent operation of the code enforcement program. Our department, in dealing with the project applicant in the pre-application meeting, went through and laid out, what would be eligible and possible uses for this property and the subject zoning. So the commercial is a zoning that allows some type of commercial building where people can come and go and sales are made that generate sales tax. Semi-trucks are not allowed to be parked here, those type of things, right? There could be a delivery truck, but there will not be semi-truck parking. It's not authorized in this zoning. If the property owner did want to have a truck yard, much like as the comment said, they would need to come through a use permit. So our department would have directed them, one, not to do a rezone application, and then we actually would have denied the application when we received it and brought it to your board, so that hopefully in consideration, so it cannot be considered for a truck yard. And so I guess I wanted to clarify that the rezone application that you're being considered would not allow a truck yard to operate there, and should one operate there, then our department would utilize code enforcement to cease and desist that operation.
Well, thank you, Neil, very much for clarifying that. I'm going to bring it back for discussion.
Yeah,
Chair? Floors.
I just had a question, Neil, on, can you address there was a concern about those rezoning, if it's going to CM, why not just commercial? Why is it CM?
Because the county zoning code, what we call commercial is CM, and so the designation is CM, and then the text of that is commercial industrial, and that's what the zoning code for the county says. The light industrial and the heavy industrial are the M1 and the M2. We could maybe scroll back, it would be a previous item. So this would be a table that clarifies the designations in the county. So of those columns, GC, general commercial, CM, commercial industrial, EC, employment corridor, M1 and M2, right? And then this table provides what are allowed and permitted uses. But this clearly tries to delineate the difference between the CM designation and the M1 and M2. There are, obviously paragraphs and text within the zoning code that explain what are the allowed uses under each of those categories. But this tries to differentiate them so you can see that they're much different. And then they all have different development standards within the zoning code, whether it's parking, restrooms. I mean, there's a whole range of things. Casey mentioned, that this property, if they wanted to put up another building for some reason, subject to design review. So they have to provide building plans, the exterior elevations, and those are all reviewed by the department as a separate action, right? That would come and be considered by the department. But the consideration here is for the CM.
Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Boone.
Yeah. While you're there, Neil, just hang on a minute. First thing I see is a retention pond. Why do we need a retention pond? Explain to me, if it's just going to be a parts house,
right?
Why do we need a retention pond right up next to the school?
Because the county has insufficient drainage infrastructure, so we require development to retain the drainage on site. This is one of the other reasons why we were seeking the text amendments on a previous agenda item is because in allowing truck yards to exist anywhere in the county is a problem because we don't have the drainage infrastructure. So the county requires every development to have on-site stormwater detention. And so there has to be a site plan with a drainage study done to collect the drainage water and collect it there. And sometimes it's a detention pond to where it collects it and then it meters it out slowly. Sometimes it's a retention pond at which it just sits there and soaks into the ground.
Okay, my next question. With Berry School sitting next door to it, is Berry School on city water or are they on well water?
They're now on city water.
Okay, so I was just wondering, because I
Yes.
don't want
It's
a
a
retention pond that might have some contamination and then it gets inside the well water. I was just kind of concerned about that.
Yes, it's a recent development.
So basically, if we wanted to open up a parts house, we'd have to zone this industrial?
Well, commercial, CM.
You can't, okay, to answer your question, for the last 20, 30 years before this, it was already an ag business. And then that business shut down, and then, so before that, but it
Right.
wasn't zoned, properly zoned.
Okay. All right, well, I'm just trying to get some ideas on, I mean, I'm a little nervous about the fact that it's right next door to a school. And I want to see industrial, I want to see commercial along that edge. I don't have a problem with that. I just, I don't know does anybody know anything about Berry School? And are they full? Are they looking to expand? Is this going to hinder them from expansion?
So this project was circulated to the school district and no comments were received based on the information that we provided based on what we're recommending to your board.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
You're the chair.
Yes, sir.
If I could ask Neil, is it common to rezone a property when there's no use described in it, or do most people come to it with an idea or what the property is going to be used for when rezoning?
Probably most often, we don't have a specific project description, and then it typically evolves during the process of the rezone. And the challenge is because seeking different tenant usage, right? And I will say our department worked with the applicant to have a project that had definitely less significant impacts, right, than other uses that could be there, right? Less traffic volume, so that we could recommend it to your board. But yeah, quite often, I will say that yes, property owners come, they have a piece of land, they want to have a commercial development, but they don't quite know. For example, we rezoned some properties. I'll say we recommended your board approve some rezoning properties on State Route 20. The property owner at the time did not have tenants, but he, tried to seek tenants following the rezone. And it's just because, they have a building and a use, and then they try to fit tenants within that building, and it's somewhat economic based. And so our department's tried to be flexible in working with property owners so that they can, get a tenant and make their property marketable.
Thank you.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
Move to approve staff's recommendation.
All right, before I was on that vote that denied the truck yard. The reason why I sat with everyone, and I tried to convince that property owner, turn it into commercial industrial. I'll support that. 2 years ago, we had a huge manufacturer wanted to put a sales yard in Sutter County. I looked at that spot, couldn't do it because it wasn't zoned properly. I said, I'll never vote for a truck yard to go in behind that school. Won't happen. A few months ago, we rezoned, actually in 2025, we rezoned property along Highway 20 that Neil Haight talked about. Took us a couple years to rezone that. As soon as we rezoned that property owner in that building had those facilities leased out. The very next day, that is retail sales tax coming into Sutter County. We don't have, I mentioned earlier, 70% of our land mass sits in a FEMA flood zone. That means you can't put a retail store in 70% of the county. That means we have very precious little property that we have to actually put some sort of building in that brings in jobs, brings in tax revenue. We have to do it the right way. I love this project. I'm excited that this project is coming to fruition. It took us long enough, but I got a motion here on the table.
Second.
And I got a second. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 19.
Excuse me, Chair, before we move on, I'd just like to read the title of the ordinance.
Yes.
An ordinance of the County of Sutter amending the zoning of certain parcels in the county.
Approval of a short-term appointment to the Sutter Yuba Mosquito and Vector Control District Board of Trustees as a Sutter County representative expiring on November 28th, 2027.
Hello, Honorable Chair and Supervisors. I'm Gina Graham, your Assistant Clerk of the Board. The item before you today is to approve one of two applicants to a short-term appointment to the Sutter Yuba Mosquito and Vector Control District Board of Trustees. The Sutter Yuba Mosquito and Vector Control District Board of Trustees is responsible for the decision-making regarding policy and oversight of the operation and administration of the district. In compliance with the MADI Act, a vacancy notice was posted and advertised for the unscheduled vacancy. Our office received applications from Cynthia Wingfield and Rob Klotz. Their applications are before you for your reference, and Cynthia Wingfield is present and would like to make a comment.
Please.
Sorry, I've never done this before. I'm a little nervous. I'm Cindy Wingfield, and I would like to be considered on the Mosquito Abatement Board. I'm a lifelong resident of this area and lived and worked in mosquito country my entire life. I live near Gray Lodge Wildlife Refuge, surrounded by orchards, rice fields. I love where I live. I'm not leaving California. This is my home, the home of my children, and the home of my grandchildren as well. I enjoy the outdoors, yard work, gardening, working in the orchards. With that said, we're very fortunate to have an excellent mosquito abatement district serving our counties. I know they do everything they can to keep the mosquito populations under control. It's always a relief when the spraying takes place, and hearing the airplanes in the evening means we know relief is coming in the morning. At times, the mosquitoes are so bad, it can be difficult to breathe outside without inhaling one of them. Another concern we face today is the growing threat of diseases carried by mosquitoes. When I was younger, these diseases seemed like problems only found in foreign countries, but now they're here in our own communities. I previously served on the Live Oak School Board and was involved in the rebuilding of the new high school. Through that experience, I learned firsthand about the difficulties decisions public agencies must make and how important tax funding is in supporting the services of our community. I currently serve on the Live Oak Cemetery Board. Our cemetery has been recognized as one of the prettiest in the area, and I'm proud that it remains financially sound. I understand that the decisions made by local boards have direct impact on the quality of life in our communities. I want to serve as a representative of our community to help ensure that Yuba-Sutter Mosquito and Vector Control District remains strong, sustainable, and able to continue protecting our residents. Their work is essential in keeping our communities healthy, pleasant, and thriving places to live. Thanks.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to nominate Cindy Wingfield for this position.
Second. All right. Well, you know what? It's your district, Supervisor Boone, and I'm going to follow suit here. I think both, I appreciate your service. I appreciate Rob Klotz's service. It's tough when you have two amazing people, you know, so like I said, I'm going to follow suit since it's your district.
Well, I've known Cindy for a long time. We went to school together, and our families, our parents, our grandparents were lifelong residents. And when you have somebody like this that comes in, you know that you're dealing with somebody that's going to protect our community and our county. And with that being said, I definitely would love to nominate Cindy to be that.
I'll yield my nomination and offer it up to Jeff.
Would you second then?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, so can we get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Sorry, sorry, Supervisor Baines.
He did a third.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye, yes.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Will you promise to take care of the mosquitoes down in South County?
I'll try.
Aye.
Motion Passes. Thank you.
I
Moving
know
on to
Cindy as well, so.
item number 20.
Thank you, guys.
Receive a presentation on
Thank you,
Sutter
Cindy.
County Library
Congratulations.
key initiatives, accomplishments, and community impact in 2025.
How are we doing? Are we all right? Okay, I know it's been a long one, so I promise I will be as brief as possible. Good afternoon, Chair and members of the board. My name is Ayla Elkins, and I thank you for the opportunity to present the Sutter County Library's 2025 annual update. As I reach my one-year mark as Director of Library Services, I'm pleased to bring back the practice of providing an annual report. To my knowledge, the library had not presented a full update for many years, and I believe it's important for you and for the public to have a clear understanding of how the library is serving the community. So my goal today is to give you a clear, honest picture of what the library accomplished in 2025, who we served, and why our work matters to every district in Sutter County. I'll start with a brief overview of our 2025 statistics, but the heart of this presentation is really a refresher on all things Sutter County Library, who we serve, what we offer, and why it matters. So at its core, Sutter County Library exists to provide access to information, support lifelong learning, and strengthen community connection. We serve residents of every age, background, and district, and we do so with a commitment and responsiveness to community needs. We currently offer 3 dedicated library branches, our main branch located in Yuba City in District 2, the Barber branch located in Live Oak in District 1, and the Sutter branch located in Sutter in District 3. We also provide adult literacy services on site at Mahal Plaza in District 4, and we look forward to a possible future library branch in Sutter Point in District 5. 2025 was a very strong year for us. We welcomed over 104,000 in-person visits and had more than 38,000 active library card holders. Our community checked out over 280,000 items, supported by a collection of nearly 100,000 materials. These numbers show that the library remains one of the most heavily used public services in the county. Programming continues to be one of our most powerful tools for community connection. In 2025, we offered more than 2,000 programs with over 26,000 attendees. These included early literacy programs, teen activities, adult education classes, technology help, and cultural events. Every one of these programs represents staff time, planning, and dedication, and they are consistently well received by the community. One of the most efficient aspects of our system is resource sharing. In 2025, we loaned more than 52,000 items to other library systems and received nearly the same number in return. This means that if we don't have the item you're looking for in our collections, we'll request it from another library for you to use, and they'll ship it to us. So this allows Sutter County residents access to materials far beyond what our budget and space alone could provide. Many people see the items that are checked out at our circulation desk, but they don't see the additional 100,000 items that are passing through our back doors on the way to or coming from a partner library, and all the staff time and effort that it takes to make that happen. The library serves a wide range of residents across every supervisor's district, and I want to emphasize that this is truly a county-wide service. Children and families rely on us for early literacy programs that build the foundation for school readiness. Students come to us for internet access, study space, and research tools they may not have at home. Job seekers use our computers, online resources, and staff assistance to apply for work and build new skills. Seniors benefit from technology help and social connection, which are increasingly important in reducing isolation. New Americans attend our ESL and citizenship classes as they work toward becoming fully engaged members of the community, and rural residents depend on our outreach services and interlibrary loan to access materials that would otherwise be out of reach. Every one of these groups lives in your districts. Whether through physical branches, outreach programs, mobile services, or digital access, your constituents benefit directly from the library. This is not a centralized service. It is a countywide network that touches every corner of Sutter County and supports residents at every stage of life. Many people are surprised by the breadth of items and services we provide. Beyond physical books, we offer ebooks and audiobooks, public computers and Wi-Fi, printing and scanning, technology help, early literacy programs, adult education, ESL, and safe climate-controlled community spaces. We also provide access to sewing machines, hiking backpacks, state park passes, museum passes, canning kits, blood pressure kits, and much more for checkout to anyone with a Sutter County Library card. If that wasn't enough, we also offer a pathway to earn a fully accredited high school diploma completely online and free of charge through the Career Online High School program, which is funded through the California State Library. Students in this program select a career pathway and complete coursework in that area to also receive a career certificate upon completion of the program, along with their high school diploma. We're excited to have 2 graduates of that program since we began offering it in 2024. So something that makes Sutter County Library unique from other public libraries is that we offer an extremely robust adult literacy program for adults who need support in learning how to read or write. California has one of the lowest adult literacy rates in the US, with approximately 28% of adults, which is nearly 1 in 4, lacking basic proficiency in reading and writing, and unfortunately, Sutter County's rates are higher than the state average, estimated about 42%. This crisis creates profound, wide-ranging effects. Adults with low literacy are 3 times more likely to be unemployed or have low-paying jobs. Low literacy is directly tied to an inability to manage chronic conditions, resulting in higher hospitalization rates, reduced life expectancy, and a higher chance of being uninsured. Parents with low literacy struggle to help their children, who are 5 times more likely to drop out of school, continuing the cycle of poverty and inequality. So to help address the serious consequences of low literacy in our community, the Sutter County Library offers free adult literacy services, including one-on-one tutoring, small group sessions, and full-size classes. We are proud to be one of only 2 public libraries in California funded by the California Department of Education through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Title II. This funding is almost always awarded to school districts, county offices of education, and community colleges. So the fact that Sutter County Library has received it for more than 20 years speaks to our longstanding commitment to high-quality education and community service. With WIO Title II funding, along with grants from the California State Library, we're able to offer adult basic education, English language acquisition, or ESL, citizenship preparation, family literacy, and homework help, all completely free to the public. And if you haven't visited the main branch during an adult literacy class, I encourage you to stop by. It's inspiring to see so many Sutter County residents working hard to improve their skills, their opportunities, and their futures, and it's one of the clearest examples of how the library helps build stronger communities. So our funding comes from several different sources, and each one plays a critical role in keeping the library running. The foundation of our budget is the general fund allocation approved by your board, which allows us to provide core services, maintain our buildings, and keep our doors open to the public. Much of what makes the library vibrant, engaging, and responsive to the community needs comes from outside support. We receive generous donations from the public and from the Friends of Sutter County Library, which is a nonprofit group dedicated to fundraising and advocacy. Their contributions help us offer programs, purchase materials, and create the kind of welcoming spaces our community has come to expect. We also actively pursue grants, some of which I've already mentioned, and we receive many of them. These grants support early literacy, digital inclusion, workforce development, adult education, technology upgrades, and a wide range of community programs. In fiscal year 24-25, Sutter County Library was awarded over $460,000 in grant funds. And I want to emphasize something important. Everything fun we do, the special events, the innovative programs, the hands-on activities, is made possible through grants, the Friends of the Library, and community donations. These partners allow us to go beyond the basics and truly enrich the lives of our residents. Together, these funding sources ensure that the library remains a strong, creative, and community-centered resource for everyone in the county. So now I'd really quickly like to shift to a broader question of why should members of the community care about the library even if they don't personally use it themselves? The answer is that the library strengthens the entire county in ways that go far beyond individual visits. Sutter County Library reduces pressure on other county systems by quietly absorbing thousands of low-level, high-frequency needs that would otherwise fall on more expensive county departments. When residents come to the library, they aren't calling social services for basic tech help, or they're not going to the sheriff's office to print forms, or using emergency rooms as cooling centers or charging stations. The library is a digital equity provider. Even if someone has Wi-Fi at home, many of their neighbors, employees, and customers may not. The library provides hotspots, laptops, public computers, technology help, online learning, and job search support. A digitally connected community is more employable, more resilient, and more economically stable. Sutter County Library strengthens the local economy. People who never use the library still benefit from job seekers becoming employed, small businesses using library research to grow, residents gaining skills that increase earning potential, and families accessing early literacy resources that improve long-term educational outcomes. The library is emergency infrastructure. During wildfires, heat waves, power outages, and other crises, emergencies become cooling centers, information hubs, charging stations, and safe gathering spaces, and trusted sources of accurate information. The library is one of the few places where everyone is welcome. No fees, no appointments, no insurance, no payment required. In a world where almost everything has a cost barrier, the library is a stabilizing force. And last but certainly not least, the library is a multiplier. Every dollar invested in the library returns many times its value through reduced social service costs, improved educational outcomes, increased workforce readiness, stronger small businesses, and safer, more resilient communities. So earlier this year, the California State Library encouraged an initiative called Every Story Counts, where we received so many amazing stories from our community members, 3 of which I'm going to read to you because they're just so good, and I promise to read them fast. Me and my kids come to our Sutter County Library multiple times per week. They love the Lego Club and all the fun events like the Magic Show or Sensory Day. They learn new things, and they especially love the book fairs whenever they come around. Coming to the library has totally changed the relationship they have with reading, and we love books. Story time every night before bed is a must for them now. Thank you so much to our Sutter County Library for the space you share with us. I'm an elderly adult. I come to the library to mingle and talk with people. I can't walk much, and I go online to have the books put up front for me. This really helps since walking is an issue. The library is great because I'm on a limited income and in a small home. Borrowing books is much better than buying at this point in my life. If they don't have a book I want, I can ask for it from another library and they'll hold it for me. I've come to some cooking classes and enjoyed it very much. Thank you for providing us with this support and helping us learn English. Thank you for your time and dedication. I love this beautiful place. Thank you. So as we look ahead, one of the things I'm most excited about is that for the first time in more than 5 years, we'll be offering summer reading programs at all 3 of our branches. Each branch has its own unique theme, and together they cover a wonderful range of interests for children and families. So in Live Oak, the Barber branch will host Unearth a Story, a fossil and dinosaur-themed program that taps into kids' natural curiosity about the past. Our main branch in Yuba City will offer Plant a Seed, Read, a program centered on gardening, nature, and growth. And the Sutter branch will take readers on an adventure with Journey Through Our Solar System, exploring space, planets, and the wonders of the universe. We truly have something for everyone this summer, and we can't wait for these programs to start next month. In addition to our summer reading programs, one of the biggest projects on the horizon that we have to look forward to is the Student Success Card Initiative, which will give every student in participating school districts a library card automatically by the time they enter the 4th grade. This removes barriers, increases access to books and digital resources, and helps students build strong learning habits from an early age. I've also received many comments from the community lately regarding the need for outdoor seating at our library spaces, so we're contemplating the addition of outdoor seating at the Yuba City main branch, which would be funded entirely by the Friends of the Library. These roundtables would give patrons a comfortable, flexible space to read, study, use Wi-Fi, or simply enjoy the library environment outdoors. It's a small addition that will make a big difference in how people use our space. And finally, we're thrilled to begin a refresh of the Sutter branch, which is long overdue. Thanks to grant funding and donations, we'll be installing new flooring and making thoughtful upgrades to ensure the branch is more accessible and welcoming. These improvements will help us provide equitable access and a better experience for everyone who walks through the doors. Thank you so much for your time and your continued support of Sutter County Library. I hope you're feeling as excited as I am about everything the library is doing and everything we're building toward. Now that you have a fuller picture of who we are, what we offer, and why it matters, I hope you can see just how much potential there is in the work ahead. Our staff, our patrons, our partners, and the friends of the library all play a part in making the library a true cornerstone of county life, and your support makes that possible. I'm really grateful for it, and I'm energized by what we can accomplish together. Please know you are always welcome at the library, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, wow, you're my new superhero. I'm so impressed. I haven't been in a library to actually be in the library for like many years. I don't even have a library card. Don't remember the last time I had a library card, but I'm coming to the library to get a card.
Good.
I didn't see the library doing all the things that you've just talked about. So thank you for a wonderful presentation. Thank you for what you do. It did very much concern me when I heard what the reading rate is 45%. Is that true that our area is 45% illiterate?
Yeah, it's an estimated percent for our county and all of our surrounding counties, Colusa County and.
Really, that's something that you have a lot of work to do on.
Us and the schools,
I feel
right?
I feel like you're the person to do it, though. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I just want to echo Supervisor Stevens' sentiments. Great job on the presentation today. I really appreciated the way you presented and all the information. It was great to see it all in one place. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Ditto. Just want to thank you for all that you do and all the opportunities that you give the residents in our community. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. All right. Moving on to item number 21.
Approval of a memorandum of understanding with Habitat for Humanity, Yuba-Sutter, and Emerald Oaks Residential Care Facility for the Elderly for a 5-year period to support the use of California Department of Social Services Community Care Expansion Preservation Program, funding in the amount of $750,000 for capital improvements at Emerald Oaks Residential Care Facility for the Elderly, and authorization for the Health and Human Services Director or their designee to execute the agreement and related documents.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. Sarah Eberhardt-Rios, your Health and Human Services Director. As you hear Gina read the title, this item seeks your approval for an MOU between 3 entities, Habitat for Humanity, Emerald Oaks, and Health and Human Services, to receive a state-funded grant up to $750,000 for community care expansion funding for specifically approved facilities improvements consistent with the use of these state grant funds. Emerald Oaks is a residential care facility for the elderly licensed in 2019 for up to 99 beds. Residential care facilities for the elderly, like Emerald Oaks, provide 24-hour non-medical care, supervision, and assistance with activities of daily living for residents 60 years of age and older. Some example of those activities assistance include dressing, bathing, toileting, and walking. 24-hour monitoring to ensure residents' safety, to include folks who are struggling with memory issues or wandering, room and board, 3 daily meals, housekeeping, laundry, and transportation. Daily rates for these services per client can vary based on the needs of each client. After an extensive evaluation of 17 licensed facilities, Emerald Oaks was determined to be the only facility meeting the state criteria for this grant funding, which aims to support facilities serving folks who may be low income, on Social Security income or Medi-Cal, and who would be at risk of homelessness if the facility were to close. The intention of these grant funds is to complete critical repairs or upgrades that may otherwise result in a facility closure or loss of a license if these facility improvements are not completed. Grant funding will include the purchase of the installation of a generator, 2 propane tanks, automatic transfer switches for the generator, related flat work, as well as a septic system repair. These improvements are proposed to be funded as, of course, they meet the state grant requirements, but they also assist Sutter County in ensuring that the building is equipped to meet public health needs of the residents during a disaster or an emergency. The proposed grant amount also has an amount of contingency included to account for any issues that might come up during the construction of these recommended items. To receive this grant award, Emerald Oaks must contribute a 10% match or $75,000. Additionally, as a requirement of receiving these funds, Emerald Oaks must record a deed restriction requiring the continued use of the property as a licensed residential care facility for the elderly 5 years from the date of the recording of that deed restriction. And they must agree to monitoring requirements to ensure that the program continues to operate as a residential care resource for our community. Habitat for Humanity, via this MOU, will manage the acquisition of a general contractor to complete the facility improvements described herein, coordinate construction processes with the facility to ensure resident safety during the construction process, compliance with permits and regulations affiliated with the work, and ensure the project is completed timely. Health and Human Services will monitor compliance with the terms of this MOU, including required state reporting, deed restriction compliance, and ongoing facility obligations throughout the term of this 5-year agreement. This item has no impact on County General Fund and is fully funded through the Community Care Expansion Preservation Grant, Emerald Oaks match amount, and Health and Human Services in-kind match of staff costs. The proposed grant award of $750,000 is included in the approved fiscal year 25-26 budget. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, we'll bring it back. We're going to open up for any public comment. Close public comment, bring it back to the board for discussion. Any?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Supervisor Bain, second by Supervisor Flores. Can I get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Motion passes. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to item number 22.
Presentation of the fiscal year 2026-27 County Department requested budget.
So everybody's favorite subject, right? Budget, last presentation of the day. I feel the pressure. We can do this. I'll try and make it as painless as possible, but it is what it is. So here we go. I'm Laura Granados, your Assistant County Administrator. And with the cancellation of the budget study session, we wanted to bring the fiscal year 26-27 requested budget before your board and focus primarily on the general fund portion, which is where your board has the most discretion. This is an opportunity to walk through key assumptions, highlight major challenges, and receive your policy direction for the county administrator recommended budget. To date, departments have submitted their requests reflecting their operational needs and priorities. The county administrator's office has performed the review and analysis of the requests. Feedback from today and analysis from the earlier stages will be combined to develop the CAO recommended budget, which will be presented to your board on June 9th at a regularly scheduled meeting. So we're getting into the guts of it. The total available general fund revenues for 26-27 are estimated to be $85.9 million. Of that amount, $5.6 million are appropriations that departments have estimated will be unspent in 25-26. And at the $19 million are department-specific revenues like grants, charges for services, and the remainder are the property taxes and sales taxes. Considering all the projected revenues and total department requests, the county is currently facing a $5.37 million deficit. Simply put, this is a structural deficit, meaning that revenues are not sufficient to support requested levels of service, making a deficit budget unavoidable. This is not a new condition for Sutter County. The county and departments have absorbed rejections and operated with constrained resources like this for the past decade. So one of the county's primary non-department revenue sources is property tax. For 26-27, property tax is projected to increase to $41.2 million, and it's an increase of about 5.78%. However, over the past 10 years, the property tax growth has averaged just 4.9%, well below the cost of living increases for the same time period. Another key non-department revenue source is sales tax, and this is generated in the county's unincorporated areas. Based on the analysis and local market expertise of Hinderleiter Delamas, their 26-27 projection shows a decline of 2.81%. This follows modest average growth of 2.66 over the past decade, which was largely driven by the temporary pandemic spending in 22-23. These revenue sources are spent on board priorities, such as public safety costs.
Can I put a pause on there for a second? Sorry about that, because I
That's
think
all
it's
right.
imperative that the public know, because we're in an election year, and there's a lot out there saying that if certain electors win, they're going to cut the property taxes. So can you explain a little to the public out there how we legally cannot come out and say, hey, we're going to cut property taxes, bring them down? Can you, because it's imperative that, you know, on that sign sheet there, we talked about taxes. Now, the sales tax, we all figured that that was going to come down because people aren't spending right now.
Right.
But when it comes to property taxes, I think it's imperative that the public know that absolutely we'd love to be able to drop our property taxes, but we legally cannot do that.
To the chair, if
Yes,
I may address that one, Steve Smith, County Administrator. Yeah, the way property tax is set is our assessor's office assesses all properties in the county, and there is a process if a property owner wants to protest that amount. In the past, I'd say 12 or 13 years, I don't think we've had a single property turned in an administrative hearing. I don't think we've lost a single one because we're very reasonable with the folks, and we have our former assessor here as well. And there's also a process is the Prop 8 when property taxes drop, values drop rapidly, like in the recession, that they are then reevaluated. You have to be very careful as the assessor because there's been numerous cases throughout the state, including LA County years ago, where the assessor dropped property values for reasons that weren't quite wholesome and ended up in jail for that. So there's a range that you can work within, and you have to have reliable comps for those. So just any one person can't come in and across the board change property tax rates in any way that I'm aware of. And I don't know, Mr. Retzloff, if you want to address it at all, or if you'd like him to, happy to.
No, I'm just curious, you know, because I've heard, you know, I drop property taxes by 8%. Heck, I'd love to see that. I mean, I would love to have that. But like I said, it's tough because this is what runs a county is the very minuscule of the tax that we get that the state doesn't get. So as a county or any city that operates those on taxes, who sets that tax rate? And how much it has to go up every year? That is, yes, please. I think this is important stuff to hear, especially going into budgets and how much it affects our budget.
Okay, here we go. Chair, Board, Todd Retzloff, back with Sutter County, prior assessor. So how it was established is back in 1975, which was put through in 78, was Prop 13, right? Set upon a base year of 1975. Under those rules, it cannot exceed 2% per year, okay? And that is a requirement by the state. Whatever the California Consumer Price Index, not to exceed 2%, It's what's allowed. We've actually had a year in the past that it was a negative amount.
It was 2021, I believe, wasn't it? Right after COVID?
Yeah, so we had a negative amount. We also had below a 2% amount that we raised, but it could not make the 2%. That was back in 2012, 13, somewhere in there. So the assessor has to follow those guidelines in setting the valuation. They determined back after Prop 13 started that we didn't have a method for a decline in value, right? So when the market changes and lowers, that there was no process for the assessors to handle that. So that's where Prop 8 came in, which allows the assessor to lower the values if the property has declined. There's also the appeal rights. If you feel your property is evaluated too high, there is the right to file an appeal. And that's heard by the board, not your board. We have an appeals board that they take your rights, you've assigned it to an appeals board that they can make that decision. So that's the simple portion of the.
No, and I appreciate you getting the facts out there. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Just have a quick question for you, Todd. I know going back to the Del Monte issue that they're talking about reappraising property and stuff that, you know, they're pushing out trees so the values are less. Is that going to, what kind of impact is that going to have for the county?
Okay, so if you just look at those peach orchards, it depends on what each one of those farmers bought that property for. What is their base year value versus its index value over time? So let's just simply, if they paid $40,000 an acre, we know that ag ground's not worth $40,000 an acre. It's going to be adjusted downward. First of all, the tree value, improvement value, is separate from the land value. So any orchard that got pushed out, whatever the improvement values of those trees will be reduced immediately, okay? So for the tax year. So we'll go ahead and take that off the roll. Sutter County's assessor will take that off the roll. Like I said, now it comes back to the land value, and that just depends on when they bought it. If they have a low, base value with indexing, they may not have an adjustment. If they have a higher one, they will likely have an adjustment.
Thank you. I appreciate the information. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just think it's important that, facts are given. I hope that people reach out to the amazing department heads we have here, then, ask for those questions, because then, when non-facts get out there, it just doesn't help anything. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great question. I'm glad you asked. So anyway, just to get back to the presentation, I just want to reiterate that these revenue sources are spent on your board priorities, and one of those is public safety costs. A 14-year comparison of general fund costs show that public safety departments increase an average of 5.6% per year, while non-public safety departments remain relatively flat, only increasing an average of 0.4% during the same time period. Other areas Sutter County spends their tax dollars is on capital projects and assets. A 5-year planning approach is used to project capital projects and assets, known as the CIP, or the Capital Improvement Plan. Departments submit all of their projects they expect to begin within that 5-year window, and along with estimated costs. And when we build the current year budget, we give priority to projects that have already been on the CIP and possibly haven't been started because they've been asking for longer than this current year. This approach is especially important for a county like ours with limited resources, because it allows for us to plan for large one-time expenses years in advance. It helps to ensure we can maintain sustainable services, set aside reserves when possible, and pursue outside funding opportunities like grants, which often take years to secure. This is an overview of the 26-27 capital projects, and as you can see, I really want to highlight what an outstanding job the departments did this year. The general fund requests were $1.9 million. $16.3 million were secured with other funding. And I just think that is a tribute to how committed our departments are to use general fund dollars wisely. one of the bigger hits is the jail HVAC system that is being paid for by the Community Corrections Partnership. They agreed to pay $6 million of that, which is amazing. And then we also have the road-related projects that are funded through the road fund and managed by Development Services. Another major expense for the county is vehicle replacement. Departments submit replacement requests to General Services, which reviews vehicle condition and vehicle history. Those requests are then evaluated at the county administrator's office to ensure they are necessary and cost-effective. So just to provide some context, the total cost of maintaining the vehicles requested in this budget cycle in their most expensive year was $76,000. We also use a rating system that scores vehicles between 1 to 20, with any vehicle rated 15 or higher prioritized as in need of replacement. The average rating of the vehicles requested this year is 16.5, which indicates that most are overdue for replacement. Across all departments, the county's largest expense is its workforce. So managing personnel costs is critical to maintaining financial stability. All new position requests are reviewed before being included in the budget. Interesting to note, when we compared staffing levels and costs across neighboring counties, the wage cost per citizen for Sutter County is lower than all neighboring jurisdictions. Additionally, the statewide average is about 17 employees to 1,000 per 1,000 population. Sutter County's is 11 per 1,000 population. This highlights how Sutter County is significantly understaffed compared to counties across California. And despite that, in this budget, you will see that more positions are being reduced or left unfunded than being added, reflecting the county's current financial constraints. Departments have already taken steps to adjust to these constraints. Several departments have frozen positions for the upcoming fiscal year, representing real service needs that cannot currently be funded. In addition, 8 positions are proposed for elimination, with the majority coming from Health and Human Services due to expiring federal grants, reductions in state funding, and declining realignment revenue. At the same time, departments are working collaboratively to shift positions internally to maintain financial stability to keep good workers as best as we can. Where new positions are being requested, they are not supported by the general fund. Instead, they are funded through fees, grants, or other non-general fund sources. County Council has requested to unfreeze a deputy council position because of anticipated revenues from the Sutter Point development, along with internal staffing adjustments. They're expected to offset this cost, making it effectively cost neutral. The district attorney also is requesting to unfreeze a position with some internal adjustments to manage costs. Overall, departments are being strategic in how they fund staffing, allowing the county to maintain services while preserving general fund stability. However, as noted before, the county is well understaffed compared to other counties in the state. So this is my favorite slide. I know. And I'm moving now from the specific budget request to talk about the broader issues, primarily the federal and state policy changes impacting the county as we move into this fiscal year. And I'll just pause for dramatic effect. So, yeah. So H.R. 1, also referred to as One Big Beautiful Bill, shifted responsibility for certain health services from the federal government to states and counties without corresponding implementation funding. Historically, counties in California have been responsible for indigent care, with County Medical Service Program helping provide that coverage. Prior to the Affordable Care Act, realignment funding supported CMSP for this purpose. After the ACA, those funds were redirected to the state to areas of their budget. And now, under H.R. 1, responsibility is again shifting back to the counties, but funding is remaining at the state level with no clear plan for redistribution. Another problem that we have coming down the pike is the federal share of administrative costs for CalFresh is decreasing by 25%, with counties absorbing approximately 8% of the impact due to funding formulas. So for Sutter County, that represents roughly a $300,000 impact with no corresponding state backfill. Another federal level reduction in public health funding that has impacted Sutter County is a $1.8 million reduction in immunization and laboratory grants. This creates immediate service gaps and ongoing uncertainty regarding future federal support. In-home, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I do want to hit the really big ones. In-home support service costs continue to increase substantially, and counties are responsible for a portion of those costs. However, counties do not benefit from savings when the long-term care costs decline, and we have very limited ability to control overall cost growth since key policy decisions are made at the state level. Realignment funding is not keeping pace with mandated service costs. With relatively flat statewide tax growth, statewide counties are collectively experiencing approximately $230 million in unfunded caseload growth. So while media and social media are focusing on the misspending of federal and state levels, Sutter County remains disciplined and fiscally responsible. Sutter County will continue to navigate these fiscal constraints, focusing on delivering effective, efficient, and sustainable services to the community, but current service levels do not meet community expectations or needs. This means all departments continue to operate conservatively with delayed or halted projects or simply scaling back services as they are aligning with available resources. Reductions in the City of Live Oak public safety contracts will lead to service delays and in some cases service eliminations. Key operational areas like building maintenance and road maintenance are completely under-resourced, understaffed. We face ongoing difficulties recruiting and retaining employees as competing jurisdictions invest significantly more per capita than Sutter County can. And at current funding levels, service gaps will continue to increase and become more difficult to manage. Your board has always been fiscally responsible, and for that, as a fiscal person, I am very grateful. You don't spend money that you don't have, but the problem in the service levels cannot meet community needs or expectations with this current level of resources. It's not an expenditure problem. We are absolutely doing the best we can. This is a revenue problem. So some of the questions that I get in my office are, with all the cuts from the federal and state governments, it's tempting to start looking at the reserves. Why is it important to maintain the general and the budget stabilization and the public safety reserves? Well, these reserves position the county to withstand disasters or economic downturns, and they provide flexibility to adjust spending in line with anticipated revenues. The difficulty to understand is that even in an economic crisis, we don't want to choose using one-time revenues to offset ongoing reductions, because maintaining fully funding reserves strengthens the county's credit profile, which can reduce borrowing costs if we need money for the jail expansion. It helps provide cash flow needed to pay our CalPERS unfunded accrued liability, which saves us $570,000 a year. Currently, just to let you know though, our total reserves are at $13.5 million, including the $1 million in public safety reserves. This represents 16.64% or 2 months of general fund appropriations, and that's consistent with the 16.67 of the Government Finance Officers Association recommendations. In summary, the core issue is clear. The county has a revenue problem. The county does not have an expenditure problem, as evidenced by 36% less employees per capita and a wage cost per citizen that is lower than all neighboring jurisdictions. The county relies heavily on federal funding, so any federal cuts will impact local programs. The state also relies on federal funding, and the less federal funding the state receives, the more they shift resources away from counties for their own priorities, to meet their own budget needs. The governor is expected to publish his revised budget on May 14th, so we just have a couple days. And many of these potential reductions remain unclear. Departments have built the requested budgets based on best available estimates. To address the $5.3 million budget gap, we have outlined some recommendations. I'm not going to read them all here. I'll just highlight a couple that I think are important. We can adjust the vacancy factor to each department to align with historical attrition. We can implement targeted service reduction in departments receiving general fund support. We can restructure county homeless services by reducing costs, closing the 2nd Street campground except for emergency purposes like floods. or secure greater partnership contributions. And it's also important to note that a number of centralized services are partially funded by federal and state sources, so meaning any reductions can impact operations across the whole organization. And while it's not a recommendation, it is important to restate using general budget stabilization or public safety reserve as a one-time solution and should not be used to manage systemic revenue shortfalls. So that was fast. So what are our next steps? First and foremost, staff will take necessary actions to close the budget gap with policy guidance from your board. The CAO recommended budget will be published and released to the public on June 5th, and it will be formally presented to the board at a regularly scheduled meeting on June 9th. Budget hearings will begin at 10 a.m. Tuesday, June 16th, and any modifications resulting from the hearings will be incorporated into the final CAO recommended budget and included on the consent calendar for adoption June 23rd. This is a different process than we've had in the past. Typically, we approve a tentatively recommended budget for effective date July 1, and then we adopt in September. But we're striving for an earlier adoption to eliminate those re-budget requests and to create efficiencies between fiscal years and workday. The county has until October 2nd to meet the state's formal budget adoption deadline, so doing so before July 1st well meets that deadline. So with that, are there any questions?
That we will open it up. Is there any public comment? I see no public comment. Bring it back to board discussion. Seeing no discussion, I just want to say, oh, you go first.
Mr. Chair, on the reserves, Laura, what 16.7% reserves, how do most counties handle their reserves? Is there a recommended area to have reserves or a percentage, or do we have good reserves or bad reserves, or?
We have adequate reserves. So the Government Finance Officers Association recommends 16.67%, and that's not a magical number. That's 2 months of general fund appropriations. And so they say you should at least have 2 months in reserves in case catastrophe hits. And we've met that. We're a little bit shy. We're at 16.64, and that's the total of the general reserves, budget stabilization, and the public safety reserve. And the total of all three of those is 16.64% of our general fund appropriation. So I feel like we are okay. We're adequate. We're average.
Yeah, we don't have excessive reserves to dip into.
We do not have excessive reserves at all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. If there's no more, I just want to say great job. I believe the best department heads around. Great job, department heads. You guys always work really well with each other. Thank you to the supervisors and department heads. Like I said, everyone, these are the committee hearings. This is talked about throughout the year. So when we get to this point, we know what we're looking at. It's not just, wow, we have to figure this out. We've worked on this throughout. Thank you. Look forward to seeing everyone. With that, I don't believe there's a vote here.
Nope, just a presentation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We are going to move on to, all right, Steve, you're up.
Thank you. Just one announcement. This is a Peace Officer Memorial Week, and tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Yuba City Police Station, there's the annual ceremony, and it is open to the public. So again, 10 a.m. at YCPD. And if you'd like to attend, feel free. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to district reports. We'll start with number 1. That would be you.
We have nothing.
All right, moving on to District 2.
Let's see, just a couple of things. I want to just note that I had the honor of doing part of the eulogy for Larry Munger last week, and it was a real honor, and I just wanted to do a final note to Larry and just really say, that we appreciate all that he did for the county, And like I mentioned in the eulogy, Larry is the real deal, and he'll be missed by the county, but never forgotten. And I know you guys mentioned him while I was gone. We also look forward to commemorating him in a new garden that we'll be dedicating to county supervisors coming up in the future that Supervisor Stevens has actually already tackled or started working on, so that's great. And then I just also wanted to ask that we get a plaque for Stefan Chapdelaine, who has made some major running accomplishments. He's a resident of Sutter County, actually a resident of Live Oak, and we'd just like to offer him a plaque. I have a whole list I'm not going to read, but just incredible accomplishments that he's done for actually running. So we can go over this when we give him the plaque, but I'd like to recommend the plaque. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Supervisor Stevens.
Yeah, the only thing I really want to bring up, it was very encouraged me. I had a meeting with our insurance, JPAs, Joint Powers. We work with other counties to self-insure. And since I've been on the board, I've been concerned about our losses and lawsuits and everything. But after hearing and Steve, would you help me with the name of the company? It's
Trendell.
Trendell, okay. After speaking with them, Sutter County had a very glowing report of what our losses are compared to other counties, and I was just very encouraged, and I wanted to bring that up, that we're doing a good job in the departments of not having losses. Our workers' comp rate is down lower than most counties that are in the program, so I was just very encouraged, and I very much appreciated them coming out and giving that presentation to myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Supervisor Baines.
Yeah, sorry that sound like the broken record here, but I want to make sure that we recognize our Ag Commissioner, Lisa Herbert, at the next meeting, that make sure that she has time to be here so we can recognize her, because like it was mentioned earlier by the CCPA Chairman Renji Davitt, the letter that was requested by the California County Peach Association from the county was instrumental in getting the funds that were actually that are going to be allotted to those growers. So again, just make sure that we give her the recognition that she deserves. And I'd like to recognize the students that took part in that reenactment at the courthouse today. We had to leave to come to the meeting here at 2:00, but they were a little late, but it was amazing what they did, and I wish I could have stayed through the whole thing, but really like to recognize each of the participants and recognize Fritz. I feel bad how it kind of went down, because he's put this whole thing together, and he was one of us with the county. So if we could bring him back to just recognize him for all that he does, I think I'd really appreciate that. So whatever's appropriate. And we had a moment of silence when this meeting first started for a past supervisor, Joe Benatar, that I just request that we do something special for him, whether it's a plaque in that garden that you guys are talking about, or a brick at the museum. That I think that's the least that we could do for him and his family, to make sure that they're always remembered. And also, I'd like to close today's meeting in memory of John Perkins, and hope to send a letter of sympathy and condolences out to Kevin and Aaron. And that's all that I have right now.
Thank you, Supervisor. All right, first of all, I want to close in memory of Elsie Marie Stoss of Yuba County, who passed away. Her and her family's farmed, gosh, I can't imagine how many generations, 4 or 5 generations in Yuba County, buying a lot of equipment here in Sutter County. Great lady. Want to do a plaque out look for our track teams and baseball teams. Sutter High School varsity boys track won the league championship. Sutter's playing, and I believe in the quarterfinals or semifinals today against Woodland. So the best of 3, they made it through the first 2 rounds. And I don't know what other schools are out there playing right now. I believe Yuba-City's playing. Yuba-City's in the playoffs. Sutter's in, I believe East Nick is in as well. So good luck to all those teams and track teams. We have the stand-down dinner, May 30th. All the money stays here locally for the veterans. Last thing is, I have a birthday in my area. This gentleman is turning 100 years old, Clyde Kelly. So 100 years old. So personally, I know that I'm going to see if any of the supervisors want to chip in, but I want to get 100 lottery tickets for him because he loves lottery tickets. And he always walks down 3rd Street like almost every day in his walker. I always see him when I'm driving home for lunch or after work. And Clyde, he's a funny guy. But he turns 100 years old on May 31st, so I want to get a card, get staff to put a card together for him, that we'll all sign and do something nice for him. But other than that, happy birthday to Clyde, May 31st. And then I'm requesting a proclamation to be presented at the next meeting recognizing May 2026 as Building Safety Month. So building safety is a big, important part. But thank you for all that stayed. We have one other request.
Yeah, if we get a resolution for the Punjabi American Heritage Society folks, they have their annual the festival, I think, on May 24th. And also there's a number of folks that are going to be coming into town for their entertainment. If we get something for those individuals as well, just welcoming them to Sutter County.
I'd definitely like to present something to them at their event. That's awesome. We try to be everywhere we can, and if we can't, we're really sorry. Like I said, there's 5 of us, and some of us has families, and we literally, our day started at what, 11:30. Or noon at the courthouse, and then
He wakes up late.
Well, that's not my work. This is my county schedule. Yeah, my county schedule. So, like I said, this job is all over the place, and that's what we love about it. We love to help. We love to be there. So, have a great week. Be safe. We'll get a motion real fast.
So moved.
Second.
In second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.
Tuesday on Government Watch, you can support or sponsor. Help keep the community aware with Yuba-Sutter.LIVE.
Yuba-Sutter.LIVE. It's the truth that comes through.